You ever come back home and feel like the ground's been pulled out from under you? Like everything you thought was solid, your memories, your roots, your sense of belonging just vanished. That was me the day I came back to Willow Hollow, this sleepy little town where I grew up. I hadn't been back in almost 15 years. Life took me overseas, and along the way, I lost touch with my family, especially my mom. We weren't on great terms, and I always figured there'd be time to fix things. But there wasn't. I didn't even know she had passed. I found out from my uncle face pale voice low. She left you the house, he said. She wanted you to have it. That hit me like a truck. I stood there on his porch with the deed in my hand, and for the first time in years, I cried. Not just for her, but for all the conversations we never had, all the chances I wasted. I figured going to see the old house would help me find some closure. But man, I wasn't ready for what I found. The place looked different, too different. The paint was fresh, the garden was full of plants she never would have chosen, and there was a big, shiny security camera above the front door. Something Mom would have never put up. I pulled out the key she left in a tiny velvet pouch with her wedding ring, and it didn't fit. Tried again. Still nothing. That's when I heard voices inside. Laughter. Silverware clinking. So I knocked. A guy opened the door, early 30s nervous look on his face. His wife peeked from the kitchen. "Can I help you?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "This is my mother's house. I just got back in town. Who are you?" He looked stunned. "We bought this place 5 months ago," he said, "from the HOA. I blinked. The HOA. This house wasn't part of any HOA. My mom made sure of that. "Well, we were told it was abandoned," he said. "The guy next door, he runs the HOA, said he had the authority to sell it." My stomach dropped. I didn't say another word. I turned, walked next door, and pounded on the door hard enough to rattle the glass. When it opened, I was face to face with a man I'd never met. Graying beard, smug expression, hands in his pockets like he owned the block. "Can I help you?" he asked. Like I was some solicitor. "You, Neil," I said. "Yeah, what of it?" "You sold my mother's house." He shrugged. "Was abandoned. HOA took possession. I renovated it, sold it. Community needed the space used." "It wasn't abandoned," I snapped. "I inherited that house. I've got the paperwork. My uncle's been maintaining it twice a year since she passed. You had no right to touch it." "You weren't here," he said flatly. "Property left vacant that long. Well, someone's got to make a decision." We followed HOA procedure. "You had no procedure for stealing property," I hissed. He smirked. "You want to yell some more, or are you going to leave before I call the police?" I was stunned. He wasn't bluffing either. He pulled out his phone and started dialing right in front of me. When the cops showed up, I told them everything inheritance timeline proof of ownership. But all they could say was, "It's a civil matter. You'll have to take it up in court." So I did. I called my lawyer that same night. Over the next few days, we dug deep. And the more we found, the worse it got. Neil had filed paperwork declaring the house abandoned, forged a lien under a fictitious clause, and listed himself as a managing trustee of the HOA. even though no such role existed. He then filed a quit-claim deed, sold the property to that young couple, and pocketed the cash. But it wasn't just the theft, it was what he did to the house. He tore out Mom's handmade kitchen tiles, ripped down the family room where her quilting group used to gather, and flattened the garden she planted with her own hands. He called it remodeling. I called it desecration. By the time we got to court, Neil had lawyered up with some slick HOA defense attorney. He strutted into that room like he was untouchable. He actually had the audacity to claim that I had abandoned my duties as an heir and that he rescued the property for the good of the community. My lawyer stood up and calmly laid out the facts. Inheritance records, maintenance logs, city paperwork showing the house had never been condemned or foreclosed, and even emails from my uncle updating City Hall on the property status. Neil's smirk started to crack, and then we played the ace card proof that the house had never at any point been part of the HOA. Not during my mom's time, not before, not ever. It wasn't covered under their charter, and Neil had never filed for annexation. The judge leaned back in his chair and said, "You sold a property you didn't own. You filed forged documents. You made alterations without consent. Do you understand how many laws that breaks?" Neil didn't answer. He just stared at the floor. I won the case. The judge ordered the property returned to me, voided the sale, and hit Neil with a $450,000 judgment, a mix of stolen profit, punitive damages, and emotional compensation. But that wasn't all. He also faced criminal charges for fraud and falsifying records. Got sentenced to 3 years in prison. You'd think that would be the end. But it wasn't. Because that young couple, Marcus and Jen, were still living there, and they were devastated. They'd sunk their savings into that house believing it was all legal. They didn't know. And you know what? I couldn't bring myself to evict them. We talked, we cried, and we made a deal. They could stay as renters. The money they paid would count toward future rent, and I'd honor their improvements as long as they didn't erase what little was left of Mom's legacy. They agreed. We signed a lease, and I walked out feeling like maybe, just maybe, something good came out of all this. The HOA. Oh, it crumbled. Turns out Neil had pulled similar scams before pressuring elderly residents, finding newcomers into selling, manipulating votes. Once word got out, the whole board was dissolved and a full audit was launched. Civil suits started flying left and right. I wasn't the first person he hurt, but I was the one who finally stopped him. And yet, even with the win, it doesn't feel like victory. Because there are things I'll never get back. The way the front room used to smell like cinnamon and coffee. The notes Mom taped inside the pantry. Her rocker on the porch. They're all gone. Replaced by stainless steel appliances and engineered hardwood. But there's peace too. Peace in knowing I did right by her. That I didn't let someone erase her memory and walk away richer for it, and that I think is worth more than any settlement. So now I'll ask you, was I too soft for letting the couple stay? Was Neil just a greedy con? Or did he really think he was doing the right thing? Have you ever seen a homeowners association cross the line like this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you've got your own HOA horror story, share it. Let's shine a light on this madness. Like the video. If you think property should be sacred, and subscribe for more stories where the good guys don't always win right away, but they always come back swinging. Justice doesn't forget. It just takes its time.